Hello and welcome to a very special and a very new episode of Simon Miller's Retro Wrestling Show. See, I'm very clever in the way that I've done this. Also, you have to apologize for my appearance today. It is so hot in my house. And when you do anything like this, you obviously have to sit below lights to light the green screen and all of that, just to give you a little window into how this works. And it's so hot here in the UK today. And I'm a hot-blooded being anyway. I may die. You may see me die live on YouTube, but that'll probably do views, so that's the main thing. Anyway, nice and simple. I'm sure you've worked it out. People keep saying, Miller, we want you to cover retro content. Why don't you cover retro content? So I thought we can start covering retro content. We'll do it on a Monday, as and when works. We'll do it at least twice a month, hopefully once a week, but we can play it by ear. It's as simple as that. There's not much else to say. Doesn't affect any of the other content. Still supported by all the usual means. That's patreon.com/Simon316. Bunch of tiers, t-shirts, postcards, personalized messages, Q&As, and all that stuff. Twitter and Instagram at Simon316. You're already on my YouTube channel watching this. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You know what to do when it comes to Google's video service. And, of course, if you are in the chat, I will ask and answer, I should say, or just read out any comment you got using the support of the Super Chat. I will keep an eye out for it. And like I say, you can talk and ask anything you want. All the money goes back into the, into doing stuff like this. That's how I'm able to do stuff like this because of stuff like that, personal projects and support and help and yada, yada, yada. So what we're going to do, in around about 5 minutes in, so it's going to be about 25 to 4. I've got Shane McMahon versus Kurt Angle all lined up on the WWE Network over there, just so you know in case why I keep looking at it. And I'm going to hit play. If you want to watch along, do as well. I'm not going to do commentary over it or anything like that, but I just want to talk about it. And as I sort of, because the reason I'm doing King of the Ring 2001 is because it was 19 years today. It was 24th of June 2001 when this all started. So when this King of the Ring was. And I think what a lot of people forget, or at least I did until I went back to, because this is the match that defines it. I'll read you out the card just so you know where we're at. Obviously, we'll focus on the big things. It was a King of the Ring tournament where people used to have multiple matches anyway. So not only did Kurt Angle defeat Christian, not only did he go on to have this crazy match with Shane McMahon, but he also lost to Kurt Angle. And he lost to himself. He also lost to Edge because that kind of set up the Shane McMahon match, because it was Shane McMahon that ran in. He gave Kurt Angle a spear, and that pissed him off. So really, Shane McMahon cost Kurt Angle the King of the Ring, and then he came back in match number 7. Edge defeated Kurt Angle as match number 5. And we also had Matt Hardy defeated Just Incredible for the European Championship. Edge defeated Rhino. That was the other King of the Ring match. Dudley Boys defeated Kane and Spike Dudley for the tag titles. Or so they retained their tag titles, I should say. Jeff Hardy defeated X-Pac to retain the light heavyweight championship. Now we're going back in time. And the main event was Austin beating Benoit and Jericho in a triple threat match. I remember that too. That was meant to be their big coming out party, and it didn't really work. Shout out to Ibanai in the super chat who says, hand on heart, my man. That's right. Anytime you enter into the super chat, you get a hand on the heart because I appreciate it, and I want to let you know how much I love you. But it's amazing that 19 years ago, and also ties into current day events, right? Like, I remember watching this pay-per-view at the time, and I just could not believe, if you've never seen it, again, load it up on the WWE Network now. I mean, basically what happened, and we'll talk about it when we get there, is that somebody within WWE was meant to make dodgy glass so that when Shane McMahon got thrown through it, he just smashed and it looked amazing. But instead, they forgot to do that, and he just got chucked into real glass. I mean, what a big difference 19 years makes. I mean, look, Shane McMahon was all over this show, but not in a way that people hated, in the same way they're kind of getting a bit bored of today. And this match, to many people, was regarded as one of the best of the year. That's the other thing. People loved it. People loved this match, and they still talk about it today. Like I say, and people are always, referencing. This is kind of, I would say, I mean, you got the Hell in a Cell top of the top of the Hell in a Cell with Taker. You've got the top of the Titantron with with Steve Blackman and Big Show. And then there's probably another one I can't remember. But I think, given just the nature, this match goes about 24 minutes. And I think that for most of it, after the entrances, because the story is that Kurt Angle is pissed off that Shane McMahon has cost him his opportunity at King of the Ring, it is just a beatdown. A brutal beatdown from... I just realized I forgot to tweet this out. I'm going to do it as I talk. It is just a brutal beatdown from Kurt Angle and Shane. I mean, Shane does do some crazy stuff to Kurt Angle as well, which is another reason why I wanted to go through it. Just running this live on YouTube right now. It's fun, isn't it? Come join. There we go. Use that social media, Simon, you jabroni. Boom. There it is. It's in. It's locked in. Man, I thought that was the wrong thing. I didn't even check it. That could be someone else's tweet. No, it's not. So, all right, it's 25-2. I'm going to hit play on it right now. It's just going in the background. I'm going to keep an eye on it. But yeah, I would imagine a lot of people don't even remember this version of Shane McMahon. It kind of sucks my TV's over there because I got to look over there. But, I mean, the first thing you'll notice is how young Shane McMahon looks. And it was 9. How even old is Shane McMahon now? I don't know. This is 19 years ago. Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon is 49 years old. So he's 30 here. My word. He's just absolutely crazy. He does look like a different person. And this is really when Shane McMahon was gaining the momentum that really has seen him through till now. I mean, he leaves the company 10 years after this, or there or thereabouts. He returns in 2016, as we know. And it's really, again, it's only been this year, 2019, where he has segued into week-on-week pro wrestler. But I guess the difference is, it was still so fresh here, Shane McMahon doing all this kind of stuff. And I think a big part of the appeal, a big part of the originality was you couldn't quite believe that the boss's son, Shane McMahon, was able to compete in matches like this. Because it's not what you would first expect, right? I'm not going to compare it to me, but I know a lot of people, I get comments all the time saying, oh, Miller, I thought you'd be shit at wrestling. I'm not saying they say I'm great, but because they already have a different opinion of you. They're already viewing me, for example, as a YouTuber. They viewed him as, Vince McMahon's son, or a referee, or official, or part of the corporation, whatever, however you want to do it. Kurt Angle has just come in as well, man. Kurt Angle, that you could tell me that was a different person, and I would believe you. Absolutely couldn't believe it. I mean, he is quick. He is on fire. He's running. And he just spit the shit out of Shane McMahon straight away. And now he's just wrestling the absolute crap out of him. And again, talking about stuff that we forget because you have to, the Kurt Angle we knew of 2019, which is not his fault. He's been through a lot, both personally and professionally. Plus, age catches up with us all. One day we're all going to be, walking around like that. Maybe not as bad because we haven't put our bodies through the ordeal that Kurt Angle did. But when you go back and watch this is pre-Kurt Angle shaving his head as well. I think probably shaven head Kurt Angle is the peak of Kurt Angle. You could argue that both ways, but just the way he moves, how quick he is, the way he looks, like he's far. I mean, Kurt Angle was never a big guy, but he's far more. That's the word I'm looking for. Tight. He's far more tight than he is these days. Again, it comes down to a lot of things. We don't need to get into that, but it's just. It's honestly, it's an amazing thing. This is why the WWE Network is so good too. It's an incredible thing to go back and watch when you're so used to the product today. I mean, Shane McMahon has just hit Kurt Angle with a flurry of punches, and they do not look like good punches. I'm gonna have to put my fan on. I was hoping I wasn't gonna have to do this, but I'll never make it. We can deal with the fan noise in the background. Oh my gosh, my fan is falling down. Don't fall down, fan. Live streams are fun, aren't they? Oh, come on. Not now. Why are you falling down? Just you've been there all day. There we go. Sorry. Yeah, I never last. I'm going to have to turn this off because I'm that hot. But, yeah, so, 19 years ago, I remember watching this. I remember staying up for this. My parents told me, absolutely, do not stay up to watch wrestling, Simon. And what I used to do is I used to get up. Because over here in the UK, it was on at 1 a.m. in the morning. And Sky never charged for pay-per-views in the UK, which seems like a crazy thing to do now. That would never happen, but I guess it's a different world. And I remember watching this match and just being absolutely... It was, again, I was young, super young when this was on. But I still kind of knew what wrestling... Well, I did. I knew what wrestling was. I knew what the deal was and that it wasn't on the up and up. But when we do get... Even now, it's stiff. Like, Kurt Angle he's only hitting Shane McMahon on the back, which you can actually do with quite a lot of power because it's one of those... the back is an area that can take more punishment than most. But... He is absolutely... I mean, he's not holding... He's waylaying him. He just gave an over-the-top suplex as well. It's just carnage. The whole match is carnage. And look, it works, right? Do you remember when we had Triple H versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 26 or whatever it was? And everybody expected to have like a brutal personal war because Triple H had been breaking into Randy Orton's house and Randy Orton had been doing stuff with Stephanie McMahon and saying stuff about Triple H's family. And then, we got into the match and they grappled and they did rest holds. And you were like, what's going on? I thought you two hated each other. This is one of those, which is, I mean, look, Shane McMahon has already busted open Kurt Angle with a wayward punch. And we're 4 minutes in, and Kurt Angle's got blood coming down the right side of his face. So, they're not holding back. I mean, he's now giving these clubs around the neck, and they are just... this match is ridiculous. You'd never get, if you did this match now, I think it would actually probably wouldn't cause controversy. That's a bit too much or maybe it would because it's in WWE. I know New Japan does stuff like this. Like, it's not worse than Naito versus Ibushi from Dominion, which is one of the most horrific matches I've seen for a long time. But it is still rough, ready, intense, dirty. And with the story being that Shane McMahon's not a wrestler and Kurt Angle is an Olympic gold medalist and therefore he should be all over him. And also the fact that Shane McMahon cost Kurt Angle the King of the Ring championship. But if you're only used to WWE now, even if you're only used to these two people, maybe you saw Kurt Angle's retirement match at WrestleMania 35 against Baron Corbin. Maybe you would have seen a lot of Shane McMahon if you're watching now. And look, I'm not taking anything away from Shane McMahon. The fact he still does what he does at basically 50 years old is, you have to give him some respect. The problem I have with Shane McMahon at the moment isn't even Shane McMahon. It's the fact that he's over every single show too much. That's the issue. I would much rather everybody was showcased a bit better. Like, who do I love? I can't say Rusev, he's never on TV, but I enjoy seeing Seth Rollins, but I don't want to see Seth Rollins in every segment. It gets too much. Man, Shane McMahon is now just pulverizing him with punches and body shots, and they're these ones that kind of, you probably think, maybe they don't hurt that much, but you can just tell they do. And I tell you, even since here, like, Shane McMahon is getting the Shane McMahon matches, even back here, were never squash matches, right? Shane McMahon always got his shit in, for lack of a better term. It's just when it goes crazy. Like, this is based. Here we go. They're out the ring, and as soon as they go out the ring is when you know. I imagine that some people may be watching this, they've never seen it. You'll be able to find it on YouTube as well if you don't own the network. I know some people, I don't want to buy it anymore. And it's a shame we don't have the King of the Ring tournament either. I miss tournaments in WWE. The reason we apparently don't have WWE tournaments is because Vince McMahon doesn't like them. Vince McMahon isn't a fan of tournaments. He doesn't think they're necessarily good for the product, which is crazy to me, because I think when you have a belt on the line or a belt that's up for grabs, or, I think tournaments are, they just jumped into each other and cracked heads. Oh man, I forgot how brutal this was. But yeah, like, I think tournaments add a sense of legitimacy to wrestling straight away, because it's something that everybody can jive with straight away. You've seen the World Cup, you've seen the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is a tournament. Especially when you get to the playoffs. Same with the NBA, same with baseball. It's all you face him, or you face each other, and the winner goes to the next round, and so on and so forth. And whoever gets to the end will win. I would like to see the King of the Ring come back. King of the Ring, great name, got good history. You don't need to have all the pageantry with the crown and the, it can be called King of the Ring without taking it literally. You don't actually have to be the King of the Ring. Right, Shane McMahon has just got a kendo stick from under the squared circle. I'll use my vocabulary. And I don't know, the thing with kendo stick shots are, and I only found this out the hard way, you can't fake a kendo stick shot. The reason you smack them on the back and in the stomach is because, again, they're areas they can take it. But not only are they bad when someone swings them, say, 50%, Shane McMahon swings them, the third shot, it broke in half. And then Kurt Angle just spears him into the ring post, and Shane McMahon's head smashes against the steel. 2001 was a very, very different time in pro wrestling. You would never see a match like this today. And look, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, right? That's a conversation for everybody to have. I mean, modern day WWE is very sanitized, and WWE is a PG stockholder product, out there to try and appease as many people as possible. Where you, again, from the look, from the feel, just looking at the crowd, this is aimed at 18 to 34-year-olds who want to see two dudes beat the hell out of each other. And I would guess because Shane McMahon doesn't have the necessary... I'm sure he got trained, and I'm sure he did that. But he's not trained like a Kurt Angle or a Steve Austin or The Rock or Triple H or Kane or Big Show, whatever. That you do have to take cut some corners, and the way they cut corners is by just, again, just kicking the absolute crap out of each other. Even now when Shane McMahon is hurling Kurt Angle into the guardrail on the outside. Actually, it's not the guardrail. Even in 2001, we already had the... What would you even call them? The sort of the rubber-looking... Because we had the steel guardrails for years, and they changed around this point. I always used to think it was a lot later, but it's not. We still have those plastic, rubber, whatever the hell they are, guardrails. But yeah, when he chucks them into them as well, it's just a chuck. There's no attempt to soften the landing. And even all this would have been a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like if you would just watch this, you'd be like, oh man, these two are going at it. But again, in about 5 minutes, we get to the pane glass by the entranceway, and then it's something else. We'll talk about it. My man Malva Blazovic in the super chat. Remember, you can support everything in the super chat. Simon, can I plug my friend's fitness channel? Of course you can, my friend. You can plug whatever you want. I don't mind doing stuff like that at all. I think all is fair. All is fair in love and war. So yeah, please do go nuts. I forgot. I didn't realize this. They've gone back in the ring. I was convinced that as soon as they left the ring, that was it. They fought. They fought to the back. Who was Shane McMahon's first match against X-Pac as well for the European title at WrestleMania? I think I'm right in saying that. So that was probably this year's WrestleMania as well, because in year 2000, I don't think Shane McMahon would have been wrestling, or maybe he would have done actually. No, he probably would have done because he was going from like 90. You know, we can find this out. I have Wikipedia right here. Yeah, because he was in the corporation from 1998. So his first match must have been... it must have been 1999. Yeah, it was, yeah. 1999, winning the European Championship from X-Pac. And the two met, so they met in a rematch at WrestleMania 15. He must have had some tag team match. You know, I can't. This is too much information on here. So he's been going about 2 years by this point. Still whooping people's ass. Still absolutely whipping people's ass so badly. I mean, how long did I look away for then? 30 seconds. All of a sudden, there's a trash can in the ring. He's got one of those weird cookie trays that they used to hit people with. Oh, no, it's not. It's a street sign. I always thought that was weird. When they used to hit people with street signs, it was like, that doesn't hurt. Well, I'm sure it hurts, but why would you hit them with that when you've got, like, a garbage can or a trash can or a rubbish can, whatever you want to call it, off into the side? He's got a bit of wood and a stick, and he decides to pick up the street sign. That doesn't make any sense. That's crazy. Well, I literally looked away for 15 seconds, and already the weapons are out. And even though Shane McMahon, the knee to the chest, even though Shane McMahon would smash Kurt Angle in the head with one of those street signs, still just absolutely, honestly, all over him. And going off tangent a little bit, this also shows why Kurt Angle is so good. This match, I mean, I'm only half watching it, obviously, but you look up and you see these transitions and you see, so you see some of the flow of the match. And Kurt Angle is just the best. He's now sending his leg. He generally looks like he's hurt. You know he's just going to turn it on at any moment because he's got cardio for days. I don't know how he doesn't get gas, Kurt Angle. He just got float over DDT'd. Yeah, and just everything. I mean, Kurt Angle was a prodigy. Like, I think we all forget. He debuted in like 99, I think, Kurt Angle, and by 2001 he's able to take someone like Shane McMahon. I swear this got voted Match of the Year, he says, almost knocking his mouse off the... Let me try and find out. 2001. McMahon began a feud with Kurt Angle by King of the Ring. McMahon's, yep. No, it doesn't say anything. I swear this won an award. Meh. Who knows? Who cares? If you're interested as well, as he puts the ankle lock back on Kurt Angle, because, oh no, he's not. He's got him in a sharp shot. Of course he has. It was June 24th, 2001 in New Jersey. Attendance was 17,777 people, which is quite the thing to point out, given Stomping Grounds didn't 100% do the... Well, it wasn't the best, was it? I like the show. A lot of people say it's crap. I actually thought it was fine. They've even got the tagline here. Apparently the tagline for King of the Ring 2001 was, "My muscles ache, my mind is spent, my body is broken, lead me to my throne." That's weird. There's no two ways about that. That's really weird. My man Malva Blazovic in the super chat says, KH Nutrition. This is his friend's YouTube channel. YouTube channel? Is it YouTube? Did you say YouTube? I've forgotten now. I just said fitness channel. You can check it out. KA Nutrition. Knowledgeable dude, nutritionist, and he does live Q&As if you like those. He's still not quite on point, but if you're a lifter, subscribe. There you go. Look at that. Free plug. Not free. Super chat. KH Nutrition. You can go check it out. Mallory Carl also said Kurt Angle was a machine. That's what you get from watching this match. You're right. It's his engine. It's his absolute. He just doesn't stop. He just doesn't stop, and everything he does, he throws himself into. Oh, the shots from Shane McMahon. He's just punching Kurt Angle in the face. Why did we got busted open? I guess that's the benefit, right? You're not going to get mad at Shane McMahon. Oh, you're not going to get mad at Shane McMahon if he punches you. Well, you probably could actually. Shane McMahon apparently was always one of the boys, as they say. But, you know, if, I don't know, remember Sean Stasiak? If Sean Stasiak had punched Kurt Angle in the face like that, I don't think he'd be getting the same reaction as that. I think he'd be getting in a lot of trouble. I can't believe it's 19 years ago, to be honest. Time goes well too fast. Is it also Kurt Angle was in the ring in April, right? So we can count that. The referee is Mike Chioda. He's still there, and obviously Shane McMahon. We know what he's up to right now. And almost 2 decades have passed. Obviously, next year at this time, this match will be 20 years old. The real thing that you notice when watching Attitude Era stuff is the crowd. There's so many signs. They're rarely sat down. They react to everything. I mean, I've turned the sound down so it doesn't bleed, but. And also, the King of the Ring set is amazing. Why we don't bring back cool sets for pay-per-views? Like, I don't mind, I understand, but having the same set for pay-per-views that we do on Raw SmackDown really takes away something from WWE, I think. I think it's so it's massive. It's basically in the shape of a throne. And the top of it goes up so high that it basically reaches the upper rafters of the arena. And do you remember the Backlash one with the swinging blades? That's something we need to bring back. It really, really is. BK11648 in the super chat. No question. Just thanks for all the great content. You're welcome, BK. Thank you for supporting. Shane McMahon's on the top. I think he goes for a shooting star and misses, right? Kurt Angle's on the floor with a trash can on his stomach. He goes for a shooting star and he just lands right on the trash can, and you just know that killed. You just know that killed. This match is great. I use great in inverted commas. Like, it's car crash TV. But you can't help but get into it, especially because Shane McMahon looks like he's dead. Mama Blazovic in the Super says, thanks, Simon. You're an angel. Hand on the heart from me to you. No worries, dude. You support me. I try and support you. I try and support you right back. Cheap plug as well, as these two guys are down every Wednesday. Actually, we do it tomorrow. 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 1 p.m. BST. Live pro wrestling show, as we'll cover Stomping Grounds, Raw, and anything. And we'll look forward to Fyter Fest as well. So make sure you join that live tomorrow. And like I say, we'll do this retro one a couple of times a month. I'll try and pick things that tie day in, unless I think of something really cool. But I don't know how people would feel if we went back to a product like this these days. Because I know mates that have a lot of their kids watch wrestling, and they really like the. They like the product how it is. I know we adults don't, and we make criticisms. But kids, by and large, do. If we all of a sudden did this, I don't know how many people would react. Sponsors wouldn't like it. And people forget about that a lot, that WWE is so driven and so controlled by sponsors. As a lot of companies are in 2019. If they started doing things like this, I'd imagine there would be a lot of backlash to it. Backlash. Because, I mean, we're what? We're about 15 minutes into this. Shane McMahon looks like he's about to keel over. Kurt Angle is still got sort of the remains of some blood on his face, but most of it has passed over. They're now walking down the aisleway, so we know what's coming. Nick C in the super chat says, it's Miller Monday. Love you, Simon. Love you too, Nick C. It is Miller Monday. Every Monday is Miller Monday for me. It's pretty damn awesome. But yeah, this is the bit that I recall, because you knew, now I've got my dates in, my dates where you just knew that somebody was going to do something nuts. Shane McMahon was going to do something nuts because that was the staple of his matches. We still think that today. But you couldn't figure out what it was going to be. By this point, like I say, we've already seen a missed shooting star press onto a trash can. So, like, it's not the most intense thing you've ever seen, but it still looked like it hurt like hell. But now, as they make their way to windows of glass, oh man, we'll just get there when we get there. And I even though I know what's going to happen, I'll probably react like a goat giving birth. But I don't know, because the big question really is that, should we go? Everyone says, I missed the Attitude Era. I missed the Attitude Era. I don't think we should ever. I always think we should try and come up with something new. I think if we tried to replicate we actually made a real forcible attempt to copy the Attitude Era. I don't think it would fly. I think sometimes things in your head are better than what they are in reality. Fuck, Angle's punches as well. But yeah, I just don't think things change, right? And I think the best thing to try and do is capture the nature of today. Like, what is 2019? Yeah, 2001 was very, here we go, right into the set. 2001 was very, Jerry Springer was big and Howard Stern was big. And this represents that. It's edgy, it's different, it doesn't play by the rules. You got two guys kicking the crap out of each other. Whereas today, that's not what society is all about. Like, you can make a joke on the internet and people will get upset. I'm not saying that in a bad way. You're allowed to get upset. Someone's allowed to make a joke. You just got to accept the consequences. But I don't think chucking a guy through a stained glass window, I mean, we'd probably like it because we're used to it. Right, here we go. So he sets him up, puts him in there, he shouts at him, he puts him in that belly to back position. And oh my gosh, the way Shane McMahon's neck hits the floor is absolutely excruciating. And you know that something has gone wrong because Kurt Angle, you can just see, it's a long shot of Kurt Angle just snaps his head to look at Shane McMahon. You can just see in his body language, he's like, oh my gosh, no. What the hell happened? And Shane McMahon, being the crazy, crazy mother that he is, says, do it again. Like, clearly, no one in their right mind is going to start thinking, oh, this is definitely fake glass. But he doesn't. Picks it up again. He goes for another belly-to-back suplex. He just grabs him and, oh! I think that's been cut. He went through that time. I think WWE's cut that. I'm pretty sure it was at least 3 times before he was able to go through the glass. But, this is terrible. It's the small things you don't remember. Kurt Angle's back is now covered in blood. And that's because it's real flipping glass. Oh, you can see the see, I've never watched it like this. You can see the shards of glass coming out of Kurt Angle's back. Shane McMahon has shards of glass in his face. Good name for a finisher, that, shards of glass. And you watch the replay. Oh, man, you see the glass come down over both of them and just rip them to shreds. This is horrific. It's like, just imagine they did this now. And then they go to the back. Oh, and he does it again. So they try and go back. They go back through one. And then they try and go back out the other one. And again, this time, because, well, 2 things I'm going to point out. This time, because they're in the backstage area, quote unquote, there is less room for them to maneuver. So both of them just collapse on a heap on that time. But also, from where their bodies hit the glass and it doesn't break, you can see blood stained on the wall because that's how much they're bleeding. Kurt Angle goes for another one. And once again, so Shane McMahon hits it, collapses. Because Kurt Angle has fallen to his back to do the belly-to-belly suplex, Shane McMahon's knee just cracks him in the face. And this is where he just grabs him and throws him through, which is even worse. So he goes head through real glass. How the flip either of them aren't blind? I have no idea. Oh, and then Shane McMahon's head is just... And Mike Chioda is freaking the flub out. I don't agree with that. People are saying that snowflakes and political correctness are the reason that WWE sucks. I don't think that's the case at all. I think the reason WWE sucks is lack of creativity and continuity, but I don't think PC ties into that. And I don't agree with overall political correctness at all, but I think that's giving WWE too easy out. See, now Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle are just absolutely covered in blood. I mean, Shane McMahon especially. I don't even remember it being that bad. And I don't remember it being this bad. And you can probably argue that maybe Shane McMahon bladed, but I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a mark right now, right? That classic thing, Miller, you're such a mark. Yeah, I am. I made my life wrestling. I'm definitely a mark. I'm definitely a fan. I'm not upset by that. I really enjoy wrestling. It's fun. It's been very good to me. And just the amount of... Because these are things you don't... Well, maybe I didn't at the time. Shane McMahon's face is now just red. And his Kurt Angle's back that I can't get, where there is bits of glass just hanging out of it. That's why I never understood... I don't understand how people do the bump into thumbtacks. Everybody says because they're so small and you get hit by so many, it's like when people lay on the bed of nails that you see. But it still doesn't justify it in my head. Like, it doesn't make me go, oh, that's okay. Someone said Simon is faff. I'm too old to know what faff is. I don't know what faff is. I don't know. Fucking asshole. Fuck. That's probably what it is. Yeah, now Kurt Angle has put Shane McMahon on one of those crates and is pushing his lifeless body back to the ring. I think you probably could do matches like this on Extreme Rules, right? You could probably raise the age rating from... I don't know if you can do that, but hypothetically speaking, I think you could, maybe have one. Not this is too much. I think this would just upset too many people. It's far more graphic than I remember. I didn't realize how much Shane was bleeding back in the day. I think I watched this a few years ago. I mean, it is just an absolute crimson mask, as JR would say. Someone says, now that you are a pro wrestler, does it pain you when you see wrestlers get dropped on their heads? I think I respect them more. Not that I didn't respect them to begin with, but yeah, when you know how much things hurt and you see things like that, you can only imagine the agony they must be in afterwards. But I think most people can understand the agony of shards of glass. The fact that I understand there's it's about 2 minutes for him, probably more, 3-4 minutes from him getting dragged from the back to the ring. Shane McMahon still kicks out. So when that does happen in 2019, certainly don't think it's anything new. It's not. It is it's exactly the same as it always has been. Fair play to Shane McMahon. That is a great kick out. He's not looking at the ref. His eyes are closed. He kicks out about 2 and 5/6, whatever that would be. Kurt Angle sells it like a champ, and then he just gets a trash can lid and just slams it onto Shane McMahon's head, where he's already bleeding from. And there's the low blow from Shane. It is this. I mean, I know there's been more gruesome matches in WWE. This is by far the worst they did, but I don't think I'm talking about in context. Again, Kurt Angle's third match of the evening. Pretty sure Kurt Angle gets concussed in this match with Edge too, and they still do this. And it's the Shane McMahon factor too. It's changed now for the reasons we've already talked about, but Shane McMahon is not a trained wrestler, so to be in something like this, it's just unbelievable. It's a long match too. We're like 25 minutes in. How much have we got left in it? We're just coming to the end now. I'm pretty sure it ends when Shane goes for the shooting star and Kurt Angle reverses it or something like that. Yeah, the other thing is the proof that Kurt Angle is... Don't remember Kurt Angle as you know him now. That sounds really disparaging, and I don't mean it the way it sounds, because that's not fair on Kurt Angle. Everybody goes through things, and you can't fight Father Time. You can't. I hate it when people go, "Oh, he's a shadow of his former self." It's like, well, of course he is. People hit their physical peak at some point, and you have to come back down, and we're all going to go through it. So you can't be, you can't get on someone's case for that too much. But having, you can still get the reverse though when you go back to matches like this and you watch Kurt Angle. And the way he controls the ring, the way he moves, it's inspiring, to be completely honest. And I try and watch what great wrestlers do these days to see if I can extrapolate things from it. Doesn't mean you're going to be as good as them, but you see how they're selling or how they go from move to move or how they transition. And hopefully that stores in your brain when you're trying to do it and gives you an extra bit of education. And Kurt Angle is just mad. He just slammed. She's now just hitting Shane McMahon's back with a bit of wood as someone has a sign that says Kurt Angle's only fan. And then I think it said, "Kiss my ass." I don't know. Kurt Angle's only fan. It's true, with an arrow, a down arrow. So he's giving it a down. I forgot about this. So they set up the piece of wood at the top on the top rope, and then he's going to give him the angle slam from the top while standing on a piece of wood. Now you could do that today. This is a criticism I will give you. That is a move you could do today. It would get the similar reaction to it did here. Everyone got off their feet and went nuts, and it is completely. Excuse me. It is completely not safe. Nothing is safe in wrestling, but it would garner a massive reaction like it has here. And all you're doing is being slightly creative. I think it's those kind of things that we miss. And yeah, I imagine that came from the brains of Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle. I don't think anybody else would have put that up. So that's a shame. Oh, that is the finish. Oh, I thought you missed a shooting star press. That is the finish. Well, it should be the finish. A top rope Kurt Angle slam, right? That's the. Well, how could you kick out of it? That is definitely the way to finish that match. And they both lay there having convulsions because they probably both think they're going to die. Absolutely incredible. It's on the WWE Network now. Like I say, it was 19 years ago today. You can watch the whole pay-per-view. It's a pretty good pay-per-view. Most pay-per-views from 2001 are. I mean, this is happening April, May. It's only 2 months. Is it 2 months after WrestleMania? Or did they sneak another one in there? Insurrection doesn't count. There's Backlash. Okay, so there's like three pay-per-views after that. And obviously, it's coming off Triple H tearing his quad too, which is why you have the main event of Benoit and Jericho versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Because I would imagine that that was meant to be meant to tie him in. But obviously, this is when Triple H misses the invasion angle entirely, which is about to start too. We'll do that. We'll do that when that rolls around. A couple of questions that people asked: did Shane have a match on this card that didn't make you want to rip your own eyeballs out? He did. He had the best card, the best match on the card, really. And Colin Wright: why don't we have a King of the Ring for a SummerSlam spot per Rumble getting a Mania spot? We should bring King of the Ring back. We absolutely should bring King of the Ring back. And why we don't? Well, we know why. Vince McMahon doesn't like tournaments. They're now showing that the replays. Shane McMahon getting thrown out of the bit of glass. It has to be real blood because there's no time for him getting thrown through it. Oh, man. What an absolute nuts match that was. 19 years ago today. The most terrifying thing is I remember watching it. And now here I am doing a live show on YouTube about it. YouTube wasn't a thing back then. Smartphones weren't a thing back then. WWE Network wasn't a thing back then. None of this was a thing back then. And Kurt Angle walks to the back looking like he's been an absolute... Well, I'm not surprised. His third match of the night. One match is hard enough. I do a 5-minute match and I'm absolutely exhausted. To do 3 and then go, 30 minutes basically. Just under, 27 minutes. Against the guy that I imagine Kurt Angle had to sort of be in control in. Amazing. It's an amazing match. Like, say what you want about Shane McMahon, but he is one tough SOB. He gets a round of applause from the crowd. Whether or not that's good wrestling, I don't know. You have to tell me. That's up for everybody to decide. But it certainly is. Look, I remember it. That's the thing. I've never forgotten it. It's something that people talk about. It could likely go on to be Shane McMahon's highest moment, I would think. Not literally, obviously. But again, why he had those massive bumps off the Titantron against Big Show... no, it wasn't. Who the hell was it? Steve Blackman and Big Show, I think it was. And he did the stuff with Taker. This, as a match from start to finish that goes long and is so brutal, is something else. It's something else. And maybe it's one of the reasons that when he did return in 2016... He was given such an enduring reaction. We then cut to Chris Jericho in the back, who I also can't handle, because he's 19 years younger as well, which means he's 30 years old, and doing weird things with his head. And you're just crazy when you go back and see people in their prime, or people how young they are, because, yeah, you realise that time is horrible. Austin's going to pop up in a minute. Here he goes. He's going to come through this door. There he is. I mean, Austin here is just turned 50. Austin's is like mid-30s. Just a madman. Bushin Ryu Cat in the super chat. Much appreciated, hand on heart. Your ups and downs about Stomping Grounds, but I think Seth and Becky's public relations can be a great story angle. Also, Nathan Cruz brags of being a pro wrestler. Please smack him with a wrestling manual at Built to Destroy. We'll talk about all the Seth and Becky relationship stuff tomorrow on the Pro Wrestling Podcast that will go live at 1 p.m. BST on this very much channel, so please do come join. As for Nathan Cruz, absolutely. Nathan Cruz ran his mouth. Now, don't get me wrong. Nathan Cruz has, I think, 13 years of experience, and he's done it all. And I don't doubt the task at hand, but I'm also not someone that lays down and takes crap from someone when I did absolutely nothing to him. So I will this Saturday, Built to Destroy. This is a good way to segue into the finish. It's up in Newcastle. If you're around, come down. All the information's on Defiant Wrestling's webpage. Just search for Defiant Wrestling. And yeah, it's me and Nathan Cruz in an ups and downs match. I know the concept's ridiculous, but ups and downs is ridiculous. 1 point for a down, that's pinning someone on the mat. 1 point for an up, that's chucking them over the top rope. Person's got the most points after 15 minutes wins. Vince Russo, eat your heart out. We can all do this. And we will. Right. We'll draw a line under it there. These are only meant to be short and fun. If you've got a suggestion, we'll do another one in a couple of weeks. If you've got a suggestion, if you can try and make it tie into the period, I think it's more fun, but we can do whatever. Hit me up on Twitter at Simon316 or on my Instagram at Simon316. Drop me a message what we can cover. It will be, let's get the exact date up so we can all start doing our research. It will be the 8th of July. So try and find out what's going on in July anytime, be it 2001, 1990, it could be any year. It doesn't matter. When I saw this, I was like, I'd like to talk about that. Let me know, and we'll plan it in for next time. But yeah, more importantly, please join me tomorrow at 1 p.m. BST for the flagship show, Simon's Wrestling Podcast show, I should say, that's doing really well at the moment, and long may that continue. Again, you can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/Simon316, Simon316, Instagram and Twitter. And what was the other thing? You're on my YouTube channel right now. This is a YouTube-only thing. Not going to put it up on podcasts. I never really like watch-alongs and stuff like that on podcasts, but I prefer it like this. So that's going to be just for here. So make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. Always nice to see the subscriber count go up. And that's that. Have lovely days. Have lovely evenings. And I will see you all again very soon.